How's it hanging, YouTube? It's a late night deck profile today because it's time to do the Bagra stuff, the thing that everyone's expecting kind of from me. I know y'all been waiting. Yeah, I've been back in the lab and really happy with how this deck has performed recently. Still is Bagra, so it's got its usual hangups, but if you're willing to put up with those, then you can look forward to it. The #1 Tactimon hater is now finally actually getting involved with Tactimon. Shout out to Tom for getting this Tactimon mat. At first I was like, nah, Tactimon, cringe. But he is doing the Kagurabachi meme, so you know we have to rep this. We have also managed to get, thanks to the combined efforts of a bunch of people and the case tournament, we are on a full set of 50 Bagra sleeves. So the flexes begin before the first card is even revealed. Speaking of first cards revealed, we're going to do what we always do, which is start with the eggs. So, yeah, for this one, we... 4 Cupimon. On deletion, trash 1 card from your hand, gain a memory. You know, it's frequently shown in Purple Hybrid, but for here, we're actually just giving up on draw. A lot of people were on money to begin with, but obviously when you made your 6s, you would be giving up that draw once you made the 6s, and obviously the 6s is what you kind of want to still be kind of going for. So we're on this now to squeeze as much memory out of any single stack that pushes out, and it just makes it a lot more punishing when people do actually clear your stack. It allows you to extend much further. Yes, you obviously end up losing a lot of cards in hand, but with the new support, you're not necessarily as stressed for cards as you were in previous iterations. So to start things off with the rookies then. 2 Soundbirdmon, I love this card, but as anyone that plays Bagra for more than 30 seconds will tell you, this card is not Bagra Army tagged. So this card it's a card that synergizes perfectly, except it's not searchable. Can't reload it. So we're only on 2 of it. Just using it as for the when attacking to load under a tamer to draw, which will then give you the 2 draws if it's under the good old tamer. Then we're on 1 Shikurimon, a card that most people probably haven't read unless you've seen a previous Elixir Bagra title video, I guess is the word I was looking for. Shikurimon is a 4-drop on play. By deleting this Digimon, reveal top 5 cards, add 1 Bagra Army card among them, and then bottom deck the rest on deletion save. So it effectively becomes a 3-drop if you get to refund the memory from deleting itself. It means you can get a search without having to commit something on board that might get taunted, if that matters for those matchups. And it does dig 5, which is technically deeper than the other searcher that we're on, which is of course the 4 of Chuchumon. Reveal top 4, add a U and a Bagra on delete save. And as is the case for a lot of these cards, opponent's turn, if an effect trashes this card from Digivolution cards, gain 1 memory. So 7 memory steals off of these rookies. And then the new star of the show, Chuchumon. And this guy is awesome. So start of main, you may place 1 Digimon card with Bagra Army trait from your hand or trash as any of your other Bagra Army Digimon. Bagra Army trait Digimon's bottom Digivolution cards or under one of your Bagra Army trait Tamers. So this lets you basically pick up cards from trash in order to not go hand negative to reload your sources, or if you want to load from hand. If you're loading this under the Uemano, this means that it gets to start of main, give you the gain 1 draw on without having to actually swing sideways and play into aces, which can matter quite a bit. A lot of the times, instead of swinging this, I will just leave it on field turn after turn and then digicross something with it. When I then get that digicross source in trash after bursting it, I then just pick it straight back up with the Chuchumon. So it soaks up things if you ever have to pop lowest DP or anything like that, in addition to also being a great way to reload every single turn. Really, really like this card. It's a go-to Evo in back. Ideally, you want to see this and a U in the opening hand and you're feeling pretty good. The new inherit as well is draw power. So during either player's turn, when effects trash this from a Bagra Army Digimon, you get to draw 1. So you can use this aggressively and actually get value out of it if you're loading it under sources, unlike the opponent's turn gain a memory cards. So we are on 4, 8, 11 rookies. I would normally be on an additional one, but I was lazy and lost a Soundbird whilst I was proxying, and have just not replaced it and have actually kind of liked the card that took its slot. So happy accidents, and honestly, 11 rookies is more than I thought I was on. You could change the Chikurimon to a Soundbird, but again, like I said, it not being tagged actually matters a lot because a lot of this is going to be picking up Bagra Army traded cards from trash. And it's not just the old Darkness Bagramon that would whiff on it. Now a lot of your cards whiff on the Soundbird. For our champions, we're on continuing with the new identity. 3 Damemon. The new Damemon is an on-play. Still has no Digicross though, so you still need the U in order to try and cheat him out. By placing 1 Bagra Army Digimon card from hand or trash and one of your Tamers, draw 1. So again, basically becomes a 3-drop if you're playing it with the U, or obviously if you can play it for 0, that's how you set it up a lot. And its inherit is the new type, where it's going to be the draw 1. On deletion, you may play a Tuarmon with a play cost of 7 or less from under one of your Tamers without paying the cost, then save. So one thing to note is if you're digicrossing is interruptive. So what you can do is digicross, you have to declare your digicross targets and material before this saves. Obviously it's in trash to do its on deletion, so if you necrocross it back, then obviously you miss out on the chance to save it. But just one thing to note is you need to digicross from like as the Tuarmon comes down. But yeah, great card. Honestly, you could bump it to 4. I found 3 was enough because keeping the Tuarmons underneath the Tamers can sometimes be a little bit annoying. And he's just extra draw. He feels pretty good. We're on one of the old Dame. On play when digivolving, play a U if you don't have a U. It being 1 kind of sucks. Shoutmon was better, but this card is Bagra traded. Is an extra memory steal, and 5 drop to play the Jewel Tamer doesn't feel terrible. It feels pretty bad to play U though. Card is named Damemon. That matters. So that's our 4th Damemon. Just wanted the free play Tamer stuff because it's still very, very useful. And obviously if you Evo it, it's cheaper. For the rest of our old generals, we're on 2 Mad Leomon, which is really just Digicross fodder for Mad Leomon on mode. There's a lot of purple in the format right now, so you don't really actually want to be accelerating your trash that much. These basically just exist to turn this from a 4 Digicross down to a 2 Digicross, which helps you in your memory choking stuff. This makes your opponent pitch as many cards as they drew from an effect. So if it was Blade of the True and they had 6 security and drew 3 cards, you would use it would make them draw 3. But if it was in 2 instances of draw 1, they would just trash 1. Because it would only see each individual instance as how many cards were drawn. Again, Memory Steal Inherits, very, very useful. Nice cheap Digicrosses. This Digicrosses for 3 with any Bagra card, and then this is 1 Bagra, 1 Mad Leo. So again, he can come down for 2, which makes him nice and cheap, especially when you don't mind bursting the sources, because this Chuchumon can pick them back up. And then for our 4s, we're going to have 2 Skull Knightmon. Again, this is a way of free playing out U's. This one can play from trash, which does matter in your matchups versus like Blackwall Greymon, where Tamer deletion is something you absolutely have to account for. And it is a sec +1 on your Bagras, while your level 5 or higher Bagra trait Digimon. So this will be your Dark Knightmons, your Musos, your Bagras, your, whatever you're playing. Sec +1 on those, but mostly you're using it as an excuse to play a free Tamer. Slam this for 4 instead of slam you for 3. It's cheaper than Damemon. You just need it to die at some point. But hold on to these because in your black matchups where you might be losing Tamers, it really helps to be able to get those back. Don't just pitch it needlessly. For the rest of our Skull Knights, we are on 2 of the on-play when digivolving by trashing 1 card, delete a 4 play cost or less. This exists basically to kill Solomon, like, Royal Knights is in the format. If people are on play cost floodgates, you lose. Your deck is bad without play cost reduction. So we're on 2 relatively cheap 4 drops, 3 cost evos to just clear a floodgate. It is also named Skull Knightmon, which matters, and it is a blocker inherit, which sometimes means you can turn like a Mad Leomon into a blocker if you need to kind of just slow the game down a little bit, which is nice. A lot of level 4s. Unfortunately, we're not really on as much memory tax, not as many taxes as the previous Bagra, which kind of sucks. Taxing people was really, really funny and putting them in these blenders, but we have a real game plan now. And that real game plan is named Tuamon. This one is just insurance to, it's decoy for all of your, Bagra army trait Digimon, but more importantly, all of your Uemonos can't be deleted whilst this is on board, and on deletion, it floats into a Damemon from trash to spend it without playing the costs, which, as a reminder, this will get deleted, play a Damemon from trash. The Damemon can then load this back under the source, or load the actual game plan of the deck, which is find and make as many Tuamons as you can. This card is crazy. This card, low-key, is the... I want to call it the entire power budget of the deck, but we all know who the actual power budget of the deck is, and it's not this card. But this card is the second bit. 7-drop, Digicross -2, Damemon and Chuchumon, which is why those Damemon and Chuchumon names mattered. Has Rush Collision native, evolves over Dame for 1, and has on play when digivolving when attacking once per turn by trashing any one Digivolution card of your Bagra Army trait Digimon. One of your Bagra Army Digimon gains blocker and retaliation. So if you Digicross this and then burst one of the sources, this is Rush Collision Retal Blocker. And you get to draw a card usually if it's one of the draw inherits. Card is crazy, like a crazy removal spell. Obviously having Collision is kind of annoying sometimes because, you know, they slam a rookie and they've accidentally taken a damage off the board, but great way to just extend damage. A lot of the times you try and do 0-cost Damemon, then evolve for this for 1 to get the draw, and then burst and then go. And obviously if you can load this with the Chuchumon, for example, turn 1, then you evolve into Dame, swing it, it dies, you get a second free damage off of this Tuamon. So card's incredible. It feels like every time I play Hunter style decks, including Bagra, every time I read the cards, there's new text on them. This doesn't have to go from itself. It can go from other Digimon in order to give it. And of course, it can pass that text around to whoever you feel like. So there'll be a combo later where that is relevant. But yeah, this card wins you games. This card just straight up wins you a lot of games. So that's all of our level 4s. The count of them is a lot. I'm not actually even going to count how many there are. But yeah, you're a level 4 spam deck for the most part. And whilst everything does have save at this point, this is where save stops being a thing. And that's why we're on the memory gain inherits rather than on the Moneymon draw. Because as much as the draw is nice, eventually you just want to be playing stuff as cheap as possible. Because your stuff gets a little bit expensive. So we're going to start off with the Muso. He's an old card. Y'all should recognize him. This card was bad, quote unquote, but de-digivolve is kind of omega broken, and this is why de-digivolve can de-digivolve up to 3 Digimon by 1. So Lamau, they made an ace. Lamau, goodbye ace. All you have to do is have a Tuamon in trash, and you do get to, on play when digivolving, load a Nightmon or Bagra Army Digimon from trash, which means you can get the Tuar. The only annoying thing is it has to have specifically Tuar to do the de-digivolve. And since we're only on 1 copy, you can't do the thing where you do Muso and declare it as Tuar in order to get the de-digivolve. You do need a Tuar, which is kind of annoying because sometimes you load the Dark Nightmon and go, okay, well, this doesn't de-digivolve. So 8k body, 10 drop, evolves for 2 over Dark Knight, which is a bit expensive, but it is what it is. De-digivolve is broken. Extra copy of Tuamon, extra copy of Dark Nightmon. The Dark Nightmon name matters as well. Because we are on to Dark Nightmon. This card sucks. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm so sorry to the Twilight players. This card being Bagra Army tagged made this card worse. The Evo cost doesn't really matter. 7 drop is kind of cheap, but the names for Digicrossing suck and it's -1. So realistically, the cheapest this comes down without assistance is 6 play cost, which is doo-doo butter. It's poo-poo stinky. The inherit is nice, getting to change an attack into this Digimon, which, I mean, it means your Muso can be a redirector, it means your Bagras can be redirectors, etc. But this card is doo-doo poo-poo. De-digivolve is broken though, so depending on your local, your mileage may vary on the +3k de-digivolve. It mattered for me when I was playing into a deck that had it, where I would be like, okay, instead of just making Bagra, let's make Dark Knight, then evolve the Bagra, to make sure I couldn't get thingied down. But like, yeah, like it was cool. And then all turns you get to spit out a play cost 4 or lower. So basically you get to spit out usually your Skull Knightmon, but in theory you could spit out Dame if you were digicrossing with it. But yeah, this card is not very good. Do not run too many of them. And that's all our 5s. Shouldn't really come as a surprise, in all honesty, that this is the shortest bit. But now we do get, we're going to go with the generals. So we are on 2 of Blastmon. You honestly could bump this card to 3. Having played with this card more, this card's crazy broken. Collision, Fragment 3, Blocker, on play when Digivolving, taunt one of their Digimon, so it has to attack start of main. Then all turns when any Digimon attacks by trashing 2 Digivolution cards, this gains sec +1 and +3k. Digicross is native for -2, all the generals do. And once again, I am finding that this card had more text than I remember. Digicross -2 for 3 Digimon cards with Bagra army traits. You actually can reduce this by 6, making it a 7-drop that taunts. And also, it would give you all 3 sources to be able to fragment, which is pretty cool. But yeah, generally when you're crossing this, the idea is to pass them low and then just snatch the 2 back in order to turn skip them, block the body, and then collide over anything else that's left. Really, really sick card. Really, really awesome. Obviously, you need to load a lot of the memory steal inherits to be able to do that. And now that you have the draw ones, you're not on as many of those. But yeah, this card's really, really funny. Turn skipping people is never not giga broken. So yeah, this card's crazy. The reason we're not on 3 of it though is because despite being the #1 Tactimon hater of all time, we are on old Tactimon, the card that I used to complain like, oh, this card only exists to make Crimson Blaze cheaper. You play out 2 Mad Leomons that get cleared by all forms of DP removal, and then you die to Crimson Blaze because you just made it 3 costs cheaper. This card sucks. Now this card's crazy. 13 drop, 4 to evo. You're never evolving this card. If I catch you evolving this card, I will find you. This card, it is a common, so it should technically have a pre-release. I might be on the hunt for 1 pre-release Tactimon. If you have a pre-release BT10 Tactimon, hit a brother up. But yeah, you may play 2 level 4 or lower Digimon with Bagra Army in their traits from your trash without paying the cost. There's no milled before this, so you better just have those names. It's not like Lilith. And then those Digimon gain blocker from the effect. And then opponent's turn, when an effect would trash one of your other Digimon's Digivolution cards, you may trash this Digivolution cards instead. It's an opponent's turn, which is kind of stinky, but doesn't actually matter for the full combo and the reason this card is in the deck. This card exists so you slam it for however much you can get the reduction for, which means it has sources, and then you just play 2 Tuamons. And the Tuamons, you can digicross them in order to like load your sources under it, or if you know, these are underneath the Tactimon. These, didn't know this at the time of designing the combo, but these can just pitch the sources from the Tactimon instead. Even though this is an opponent's turn effect, these can target the Tactimon to trash the sources from. And because these already have blocker, you can give the retaliation to the Tactimon and give it blocker that way. And obviously if you're playing 2 of them, then you can keep retal on one of those bodies as well, whilst also getting your card draw. So really, really sick combo, you know? As much as I complain about Tactimon, Kagurabachi. And he is locked in, and, you know, make 2 of the best card in your deck for free is giga broken. And did you know that Kagurabachi is the same number of syllables as Bagra Takti? But yeah, as much as I'm the biggest Tactimon hater in the world, if you can play this for cheap, you can probably win the game if you have your 2 Armons in the right place. Again, it not milling does kind of suck. You actually have to be really specific about how you set this card up. But sometimes you play a 2 Armon and like a Mad Leo, or 2 Armon and something else. Card is not omega miserable like it used to be. But the man in the chair is here for a reason. And that is not what he does now. Now he actually gets up and goes hunting. On play when Digivolving, you can place one Digimon as the bottom Digivolution card as any Digimon or Tamer. And then all turns when a Digimon Digivolves or effects place cards under them by trashing any two of this Digimon's Digivolution cards, trash your opponent's top security card. This one is 2 cards to Digicross with, so he can come down for a total of 9. A little bit more expensive. 13k DP body is pretty sick, and the fact that you can put stuff under Tamers now is awesome removal. Bit more expensive on the security burn, which does kind of suck. But we're on 3 of him because, you know, he is the big bad. You could be on 4. I wouldn't hate it. I received my 4th one quite late, so I'm actually of one of them still in the chair. And it does actually come up because his all turns only trashing one source means sometimes you can burn more security doing it this way. Obviously this card is more expensive than having the Digicross plus being able to U it. So there will be times where he is more expensive, but obviously if you get him pitched as well, it being an all turns means it does have synergy with the big man, Darkness Bagramon. And yes, we do have an SP. 2 of the alts, and we'll slowly turn this into 3 SPs, but for now, we've ditched the silver rainbow one for the brand new Hazy Cthulhu monster. 16 drop, Digicross -3 Bagra and Dark Nightmon. So he comes down for 10 cost. On play, when Digivolving, choose one card in your opponent's hand without looking and place it as the bottom Digivolution card of a Digimon or under any of their Tamers. You don't actually get to look at the card whilst doing it, but like it's like a face-up card. It's not a training or anything like that. So it really doesn't matter if you see it as you do it. You have to pick the target anyway. So like, if you were going to put it under a Tamer and kill the Tamer, who cares if you see the card before it? I do it in one motion, and it really doesn't matter. If I reveal the Grav Crush, it's not suddenly going under a Digimon instead of a Tamer. It was going under the Tamer and it dies. So I don't know why people are really asking about that. The real important thing is actually how the rest of this ruling works. So you get to place it under then by placing 3 Bagra Army trait Digimon cards from your trash as this Digimon's top Digivolution cards, delete one of their Digimon or Tamers that has cards under it. So realistically, if you were targeting a Tamer, you just immediately load that card under a Tamer and blow it up straight away. This also does mean versus like Crossheart or something, you just get to blow stuff up for free, which is pretty funny. But the main reason this card is cracked now, it doesn't grief all of your Tamers. Instead, all turns, this Digimon gains all the all turns effects of level 6 Bagra Digimon in its Digivolution cards. So this Tactimon being an opponent's turn is anti-synergy. Very unfortunate. But the when a Digimon attacks, burst 2 from Blastmon is an all turns, and then as I said before with the Bagras, the new Bagra and old Bagra are both all turns, meaning you get the effects of both of these. So in instances where this Darkness Bagramon has the old Bagra in it, you can just burst 1 source in order to burn a security, then burst another 2 sources in order to burn another security. You do have to load under a Digimon for that, as the old Bagra only checked for when cards went under Digimon, not under Tamers. So there is that to keep in mind. If you just went 4 of the new Bagra, I wouldn't hate it. I'm on one of the old ones for now because I've actually liked the ability to like burn for cheaper. Like sometimes you end up with 5 sources and sometimes that just works out a bit more efficient. And at the end of the day, if you're digicrossing it or whatever, it's a name, so it still fits for the same cost. But yeah, Darkness Bagramon, again, it's where a lot of the power budget is. Card's very, very good. An SR instead of a secret, by the way. But yeah, that's where the Digimon are. And realistically, it doesn't matter about any of the support in this deck at all. If you don't see the Uemanos, you lose the game. You know it, I know it. This is a 4 of. This is the actual power budget of the deck. It doesn't matter what you see. You can try rookie rushing them, you can try champion rushing them. It doesn't work if you don't see these. You see you have a chance of winning. You don't see you lose the game. And I know we got a new Tamer and it's staring at us behind, but it doesn't matter. This is what wins you the game. These are nice to have. Uemano, you know what? Also, PSA. This card does not need to unsuspend. Like, this card does not need to suspend to use its effect. You just get to do it once per turn for free. Like, you just get to place up to 3 cards. Stop suspending your Uomanos. Stop letting people stun your Uomanos. Let them stop it from suspending, and then Digicross with it anyway. Stop letting people freezing this do anything. Yeah, I keep seeing it, and I just need to remind people that is not how this card works. But yeah, he's great. And then the dual tamer, 2 Amano, as I call them. Start of main, by placing 1 Bagra or Twilight Digimon card from hand or trash, draw 1. So at least you get to draw 1, unlike the Chuchumon here. Great way to just suck up stuff from trash versus like Gallant, etc. But also just keeping recursion. It basically gives you an extra source that your regular you can snatch from it. And then this is an all turns when any of your Bugger or Twilight Digicrosses are played. You can suspend the Tamer in order to do 1 from under a Tamer and 1 from trash. And it still fulfills the Digicross requirements. Unfortunately, it doesn't stack, so it's not like you can Digicross from hand and then also do this as well, which is what this deck needs, unlike Twilight and other things. So this card is like nice to not go neg from hand, but it doesn't help you cheat the cost of other things. It just makes you pay the same cost for others, and it also only works for Digicross stuff. So your Damemons, etc., that don't have Digicross requirements don't see any value out of this card. So that's why I'd say second to have. It's not amazing. I don't really want to slam Darkness Bagra for 10. I don't want to slam Bagra for 9. I want to cheat it out for 4. And if this helps me do that, sick. Really, all this card does is just reload stuff for your use. So we're on 2 of them. I was originally testing 3, but I just found that, like, I don't need an extra. If this is my only one, hey, at least it's a tamer I can save under. But you is what matters, and this is nice to have. Ideally hit it in security or something. Then for the last 2 cards we're on 1 Buzzing Fist, because this was supposed to be a Soundbird mon. I just forgot to turn it back and then got lazy and decided not to. It playing a you from hand or trash is nice if it pops out of security after one of your guys gets deleted or milled or whatever. Reveal top 3, add a Bagra army to hand, trash the rest, then load under no, it's specifically under Tamers, yeah. Load directly under a Tamer. So this is a 1-cost search if you got Uomano down and you haven't used its all turns to gain 1, draw 1. So sick card. And I'm honestly not hating being on 11 rookies for it. Sometimes it's worth it. This could be Astral if you want some additional non-Digimon removal, just to clear guys that are unaffected, like your Black War Greymons are kind of annoying to deal with if because your Bagra is 13k. Before you could tuck it, it would immediately gain protection from Digimon effects. So turning this into an Astral to give you some removal can be pretty nice to deal with those idiots. And the last card is Demonic Disaster, because we're a purple deck. Our rookies are 1k. But Lord knows you're going to hit a Tamer in security and you need it to die. So Demonic Disaster is a really, really nice extender. I can't tell you the number of times where I've had Tuamon as a 7k body just live. And I kind of need it to save. But also you go wide enough that you can just be like swing it, cross a body next to it, and then Demonic Disaster that body to have your Tuamon swing again. So I've sometimes just had like 4 or 5 checks happen because I've had like a Damemon swing, die, float into Tuar, swing it, it lives, pop something next to it, well, swing something, it lives, pop it, unsuspend Tuar, swing again, or like swing, collide with like a rookie, use Demonic to delete, to swing Retal into the thing I actually wanted to collide with. So there's some really, really cute like lines that this does. It does also play a rookie out of security without the on play. So ideally you play the start of main Chuchumon. And that is the list. No one was expecting a short Bagra video out of me. This is a 30-minute masterclass. Realistically, the only last thing I have to show you in terms of interactions, I mentioned it before, is like I said, the Damemon, when it would die with a 2R under, it's on delete, play out, and then you have to digicross from there. So yeah, you know, we'll just full Digicross from there. Dame over Choo-Choo. And then this saves. So it's just worth noting that you don't get to save, draw one, gain one, then play the 2R and decide whether you're digicrossing. You do have to commit to digicross as it comes down. Then you can still well, then you also still have to process the on play because it's next in stack. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because no, it's so this would then say if you get your draw on game one, then the on play for this activates, but you would still again need to have digicross to put the sources under it before then. So timing on that is a bit weird. So as a recap, it's delete, play out, cross, save, draw one, game one, activate on plays is the like correct ordering for that. And then the other thing of note is your Darkness Bagramon. If you let's say you cross your Bagra on play when digivolving, tuck a Digimon under a Tamer, for example, and then you burst 2 in order to burn top card of security. This is once per turn, so you've used this once per turn. Does not matter. You can still go Darkness Bagramon over this. Darkness Bagramon gains all of the all turns in it. So it basically sees this instance of Bagramon and just takes the all turns and puts it on this card. So even though you've already used the once per turn of this Bagramon, the all turns is being replicated as a new effect on this Darkness Bagramon, which means, you know, hand rip them, put it under a Tamer, and then say if we load 2 Bagras here. Oh, okay, I mean, we can do 3. It literally doesn't matter. In order to then delete something with sources. You now have the all turns of this Bagra, this Bagra, this Bagra, this Bagra. These ones that were loaded off the second half of the Darkness Bagramon effect did not see the card get placed under, so you don't get the trigger for those all turns, even though he now has them. But like I said, the all turns that was taken from this Bagramon that's just in its sources does see the hand rip, so you get to burn again. So what this does mean is you can do some 2 damage plays where if you keep turn, you get to go Bagra, burn 1, Darkness Bagra, burn a second, which does matter. If you're obviously getting to, say we cross the Bagra with a bajillion sources. So if you cross the Bagra this way, burn 1, and then you evolve with Darkness Bagra and load the 3. Then 1, 2, 3, 4 Bagras have seen a card get hand ripped, and if you sequence them correctly, you can just do it. Because it's an all turns, you just have to make sure you're careful with it. So you just gotta be like, all right, using the all turns from this Bagramon to burn 1, using the all turns of this Bagramon to burn 1, using the all turns of this Bagramon to burn 1, using the all turns of this Bagramon to burn 1. So you just have to be a little bit intentional of it, because when it leaves the source, it loses its all turns. The reason I know that it works this way is because they did it this way on the official Bandai stream, where they went Bagramon effect, Darkness Bagramon effect in the same turn, which was crazy because I did not think it would work this way, but I've literally seen Bandai do it, so that's the way it works. And we've had confirmation that the cards that you pick up for the second half of this deletion effect do not count towards the your all turns, so it can't see the hand rip. So just so you know, that's kind of how your sequences are ordered. If you put under a Tamer, old Bagra doesn't get to all turns people, but that is what the man in the chair is doing now. Go out there and draw your sword named Tuamon, and go cut people down, because you are not necessarily a control deck anymore, but you certainly can. You know what? I nearly forgot. I kind of casually mentioned this deck can turn skip people. That's kind of control-y, isn't it? How to turn skip people in this in Bagra is pretty simple. Again, ideally you have a U and you digicross with the U, and force cross with the U, and then you're just using Blastmon's in native Digicross to Digicross with 3 Bagra army names. What you need to do is basically see how much memory you have, and then just count backwards. If they don't have a memory setter, you need to basically make it so your Blastmon costs 1 more than you're passing. So if we're on 6, we need this to cost 7. So maybe Digicross native -6, which would be 7 on the dot. And that will pass 1. On play, taunt something, and then when they attack, I just burst these 2 sources and turn skip, block the body. If they have 2 next to it, you just take whichever one works best for you, and you just taunt it, block it, and then collide over the next one in order to clear both. Great way to turn skip people and just kind of play for board. The other thing you can do, which usually works better, obviously, if you have less memory, funny enough, but you have more resources, is you do your Digicross again. And then if you're force crossing to get even more memory, ideally the more memory inherits you have in this, the better. What you ideally need to do is get them in a way where they have a bigger Digimon. So something like a Gallantmon is a great example, because that guy is like 13k or something. I usually try and trade with 7s. Works really well for me. So you, even if they have a memory setter or a way to gain memory during their attack, you recognize that they're attacking, gain the DP, and if you can crash, because this has fragment, you can then crash 3 sources in order to prevent the deletion. 3 sources go, bang, turn steal. So you can steal potentially 5 memory in one sequence with Blastmon. So card is crazy. And of course, if you happen to have the reloading Chuchumon next to it, the Chuchumon can then just load up another source, so that way this can be a 2-check idiot. But obviously, you know, it has collision, so do with that information what you will. Really, really useful card for trading. You will get to see video examples of that coming up on the channel soon, so look forward to that, where we unlock the ability to turn skip people mid-game as I figure it out, and then throw anyway. But yeah, this is Bagra. The deck is still tier 2 at best. The deck is still really fun. And the deck is still going to have me in a vice grip for rarity bumping it. I've lost my Digimon pre-release stamps. Don't know where they went. Yeah, come to the case tournament if you haven't already. Thanks for 4k subs, and hopefully Bagra keeps getting support. See you on whatever else I build in this set. Bye.